Welcome back, everyone, to DBDLeague. It's the second day of the qualification stage. First warning to everyone, I'm back on my mountain internet yesterday from the mobile studio in Frankfurt, but now back into the mountains. So if I'm cutting sometimes, you know that I didn't stop loving you all, our wonderful DBDLeague community. I'm simply unaware, probably even, and yapping for myself. The second thing I need to make you aware of is that we are understaffed today. As you're aware, we are formed as a group of volunteers here. So everyone who's putting time and dedication into DBDLeague is doing that in their free time. And this creates sometimes a scenario where a lot of match officials and staff members decided to touch some grass. Greetings to them, but this might be leading to a little bit of a slower setup time today between the breaks. In case this is happening, we obviously apologize and we are asking for your understanding. This is also the reason why we are 10 minutes delayed at the moment. We can totally understand if you were horrified because your favorite DBD channel was not on time, but let me assure you, we are here with a lot of passion, with a lot of energy, and we are certainly ready for this fight between Jinx and Void. And with me, a very wonderful caster, an expert in DBD. Took a break for a little bit, but finally he's back. ssbkid, how are you today?
Hey, what's up? How's it going? Welcome. Like Dyer said, welcome everyone. Hope everyone's having a wonderful weekend. It's been really nice to kind of come back. Obviously, we kind of had the off season, so it's nice to get to chat with everyone, get to see everyone, do some, play some DBD. It's gonna be really cool. I'm excited to see how a lot of these teams are gonna be playing for their lives, like quite literally. Their chances at competing in like the actual winter circuit with some of the big dogs. So it'll be really cool to see how this stuff pans out for sure. And then a little bit different than usually how most of our sets early in the season go on. Usually we're playing best of threes, but obviously since there's a little bit more of a higher stakes situation now, because these are qualification matches, we get to see best of fives, which is going to be really cool. Starting with what Dyer told me before the stream went live was one of his favorite killers to cast. We got Plague on Father Campbell's Chapel, so that'll be really fun. Dyer, you might be able to tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I mean, we couldn't be more different when it comes to the Plague, and I totally understand it. You said at the beginning, the gameplay of the Plague can be challenging sometimes because it is kind of this slow gameplay at the beginning, the survivors trying to hide, avoiding the infected generators as long as they can. And I very often see some people in chat saying the same. They're saying, oh, Plague gameplay is for falling asleep. It's almost like an ASMR video or something that you catch on YouTube. But guys, Plague is the most exciting killer in the competitive environment, and I will tell you why. Time for my Plague advertisement here. First of all, you're combining the mechanical skill of a M1 killer with later on a little bit of a projectile killer, but there's so much strategy in there as well, because you cannot send your healthy survivors time and time again onto the 3 or 4 gen setup. They are broken and you cannot just cleanse. This would be too easy on a Plague set. The players need to avoid handing out the power to the Plague at all costs, especially during the early game. So the only time you can attack those crucial generators is when you are absolutely sure that you are in safety. You have to have perfect communication so your survivors are able to move early away from those generators that you're currently trying to attack, because when you're broken and injured the whole time, it is just a difficult challenge for yourself. And this has so much on the Plague set. So everyone out there, whoever said that Plague is a boring set, you will be proven wrong today, and you better open your eyes a bit more for what's happening on the screen there. I think I'm done yapping about the Plague. But SSB, we were talking about the Singularity. That is our second set of today. And we both agreed that Singularity is a lot about the map pressure and the camera management. And I feel like there lays this special task, right, for the Survivor team to somehow get out of the grasp that the Singularity has very often.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like you said, I mean, you kind of just hit the nail right in the coffin with, map pressure and being able to manage your cameras being very, very important. Obviously survivors, they spawn in and they try to speed up EMPs. That way you just have one at all times. Obviously there's, I'm not sure what the balancing is exactly for like the add-ons and whatnot, but I'm pretty sure there is an add-on where like if someone has an orb on them and someone else comes near them, they actually like get it put on them as well. So it kind of discourages double stacking gens or maybe even double resetting or anything like that. So it'll be interesting to see like what the thought process is with like the full build, not just like the perks, but obviously the add-ons, because I feel like that does affect the playstyle a little bit. But yeah, I mean it takes a lot of setup. Kind of like early DBD hag where it was like, very optimally, like you don't start a chase very early on. It's more about getting your web set up first, and then once you do lure survivors into your web, then you can really start just getting really easy and really fast teleports onto them. Obviously, the overdrive mechanic, whatever the official name is called for the singularity, you can swing through pallets, you break them very quickly, like you can close some distance very, very quickly if you can get those TPs on lock. So obviously a little bit slow at first, but once the singularity really gets going, then you start to see like the true power of this killer. So going to be really exciting to see how that ends up panning out. And then both of these killers at a high enough tier where exhaustion bricks come into play as well, which is really nice to see. Obviously, when we see like the lower tier killers, we tend to see a lot of stuff being taken away from the survivors just to make sure that it's a little bit more balanced out, right? So it's not super one-sided, but it's really nice to see how that's going to end up coming into play as well. So, and then one of my personal favorites for set 3, which we get 3 guaranteed sets, obviously. We get the Hillbilly, which is going to be really cool. I definitely was a big fan to see the Hillbilly, kind of buffed like crazy like he was quite some time ago. Now, one of the mainstays, everyone, I feel like plays Billy, so it'll be really cool to see how that ends up panning out. So what can you tell us more about that killer specifically?
Oh, Billy is an absolute favorite one. I loved him in season 9 already. The disadvantage there was that so many teams started to love him as well after the rework. And we saw so many games on the Blood Lodge. And after a while, I must admit, just like our community said, Billy on Blood Lodge is a little bit outdated now. And in All Hallows League, he was constantly on a different map, since the teams were completely free in what map they were combining with the killer. And here now in the Winter Circuit, we have 3 options to pick from, and the Billy has fresh and new balancing when we are talking about the maps. So that's why we are going to see him on the Fractured Cowshed. And that's actually not going to be the easiest map for him, because the main building there is blocking quite a lot, so you cannot always go for your cross-map sniping. You also have the shack available on this map, quite standard for the Cold Wind farm. We have a few strong jungle gyms sometimes. Even the cow tree can spawn on the Fractured Cowshed. So there are certainly some good resources that you can make use of, and especially the early game is always the crucial part when you're playing against a Hillbilly. You really want to make sure that the first chase is lasting a little bit, that you maybe even are able to double out the first generator, because that always feels really good against the S tier killers. And we're actually going to stay on the S tiers right after that, catching the Blight in case we need set number 4 here. Every game today is held as a best of 5, with the winner straight up going into the main stage. So this is like a little grand final here for Jinx and Void when we are talking about the qualification for Winter Circuit. Blight will be an interesting one because it's played on the Wreckers Yard. And first, SSB, I thought like, oh, Wreckers is a small map. That's going to be tricky when the Blight is being played there. But then I was thinking, there's still a lot of resources that the survivors can work with. So many TNLs, so many walls that you can hide behind. So maybe actually the survivors in a pretty good or at least decent environment there on the Wreckers.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, obviously, like you said, like, and the cool thing about the S tier killers is that, a lot of things get allowed in terms of like perk loadouts and stuff. Cause I mean, you need it, right? Like you need it. Like if you took away exhaustion perks from S tier killers, they would be winning. They would be winning sets left and right, right? Like you definitely need them in terms of when it comes to maybe lasting a little bit longer in chase. And like you said, lots of resources on that map. And I feel like specifically like TNLs, like one of the things that you can kind of do against Blight is you can kind of take these 50/50s on medium vaults on windows. And he has to use an extra bump or two just to try to catch you on the other side. So I imagine a perk like, this is crazy. I'm actually excited to see what the builds are because I'm not obviously like I know we can see them like the staff can see them, but like I can't. I haven't checked. But something like crowd control would be something that would be really strong for a Blight to use in terms of just taking away that situation and kind of keeping everything, keeping all those 50/50s on one side of the window. And you might be able to snowball, get some crazy hits like that as well. So, and then obviously, Blight, I feel like we normally see, outs or like 4K1s, but obviously, the Blight, if played well and piloted well, can definitely do some crazy damage, snowball very quickly. Just, probably arguably the second best killer in the game, definitely in the top 2 for a good reason. And if it, by some reason, we go to the last set, we also have another, like one of my, he is warming up to me a little bit now, and I actually kind of really like watching him play now. We actually get to see some Mastermind. We get some Wesker action. That'll be really fun, right, Dyer?
Absolutely. Wesker, especially as the tiebreaker. So when the momentum is high, 2-2 on the sets and everything is coming down to it, I appreciate the Mastermind so much. Exciting dashes, and what these pro players are making out of it, these, you can almost call it hack tech, like we have seen with the Blight in the past, but seeing them with these nice curves around the tiles and then grabbing a survivor, instantly throwing them into this or this wall or tile is just really exciting to see. And it is a great set. It has so much dynamic. It is so much about the coordination on the survivor team that they are not getting grabbed unexpectedly or facing a quick down too early. Because especially in the tiebreaker set, it's all about the momentum. And you really want to make sure that the first chase is a long one. And Mastermind, just from the chase gameplay, I always feel like it's very, very exciting. You might hear in the background, ladies and gentlemen, that we are loading into the first trial for the second time now. We just loaded in with one survivor only. So it seems like the servers are currently showing a weird behavior, but let's hope that this match today is not going into the void. And without further jinxing it, we are in on the Father Campbell's Chapel with the Plague here, agitation coming in together with Thanatophobia, Corrupt Intervention, and Pain Risk. But honestly, we need to talk about the Thanatophobia perk, because that was a perk that was very famous in the early stage of comp, then went all forgotten, but it seems like K is bringing it back today. Very interesting, and even I would say an aggressive pick here.
100% for sure. And before we kind of get a little bit further down when it comes to maybe like the game plan right now for K, it ain't a Dire Wolf commentary stream if he doesn't drop a billion dad jokes. By the way, I heard all those. You ain't slick, man, but but they're quite good. They're quite good, I might add. But yeah, like you said, kind of taking it back to a little bit of an old school comp meta, right, with the Thanatophobia. But if anyone can benefit from Thanatophobia very consistently and very reliably, it is 100% Plague, right? You only have one like true slowdown perk, which being the Pain Res. Obviously, Corrupt technically you are slowing down some progress because you have to rotate over to do these gens. But Thanatophobia definitely a perk that like already you see that it is starting to come into play right now. So that's something that can definitely be worth, especially against someone like Plague, where you can't, you don't want to reliably heal or you don't want to reliably cleanse, because then you just activate the power, right? And especially with Apple already starting with an extra pull as well, so that kind of makes it even more difficult to deal with. And we did find the broken survivor already, so we're gonna have to see a little bit of a hesitation right there. I mean, you just hold straight. I mean, you get that vault right there, so a little bit unlucky right there. K gonna be getting the first hook as well. K also very strong player in their own right. I'm pretty sure I saw them play in a 1v1 tournament with, I believe, Moon, who is also on Jinx. So very, very strong killer, very strong survivor sides as well. So it'll be cool to see how they end up cooking right now. Already off to a good start so far.
Now, with Nia on the first hook here, the Plague also has a little bit of a reason to celebrate, because that could be much worth on an M1 killer here. Skeng with the fully broken effect as well, but we are still looking for our Ace and Adam. They haven't been found yet. That also means that Thanatophobia can certainly not fulfill the true potential just here, but Move is actually around on this TNL. The Plague does not catch him though. Very nice and well done sneak gameplay here, and it's very important that the survivor is staying hidden, because it only takes this short puke by the killer and then everything is progressing itself, especially when you're working on one of the generators. The infection is climbing really quickly to the fully broken effect here. Skeng is going to finish the first generator, and Ace is also about to complete the second one, so we're seeing the survivor team here definitely not joking around and showing a lot of efficiency here. The good news is for our killer that he is able to protect the hook quite well with the power that he just picked up. If he wouldn't walk away and having an Adam in the back here, this might be tricky if the killer is not returning in time. The save is coming through now. Move getting infected from them, but K went a little bit too far, completely overlooking the Adam a third time this trial already. And if the survivors are making it safely out of the carnival because the power is about to expire, that would actually be horrendous for our Plague here.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you know, it feels like a little bit of a missed opportunity. I mean, we still get the down anyways, and we get a Mori already. So yeah, already one survivor down, and that's 2 gens popped, I believe. So, you know, 1 dead at 3 gens remaining. Not the worst thing in the world, but yeah, I mean, honestly, it feels like a little bit of a miss whenever you pick up the power. Usually you pick up the power in order to confirm a stage 2 or confirm a kill, and with how long, you know, the power can last, I feel like if you just sit at the hook with power, sure, you're wasting it because you're not hitting anyone, but you're confirming like a death for sure. And maybe you added like another, you know, I feel like if anything, this was a little bit quicker though, regardless, because, you know, that second stage, that second struggle phase would have been a lot longer. So not the end of the world, but like you said earlier, you know, Thana at its full power definitely gonna get 3 stacks now once the Atom's fully infected. So yeah, this is going to be a rather slower mid game now, especially with, you know, 3 fresh pain rest stacks. So, you know, everyone's fresh here, so you get 1 down and you're gonna get an extra, you know, what is it, 10-15% or whatever it is. So it's gonna be really, you know, it's gonna slow down the gen progress quite a bit in this mid game.
Yeah, this is really a problem now for Void, because I feel like they are a little bit overwhelmed with how quickly they lost the survivor here. The Mori edition is also removing this extra chance to come in with a flashlight save or anything like this. So whenever your dead team member is on the floor, they are really going to face the execution here. Void is a little bit overwhelmed at the moment. They also have 3 injured and broken survivors, so there's no one who can really go into a little bit of a longer chase here. And with that power available, it should be the down, but Ace is proving us that we were a little bit too hopeful. 14 Jinx here. It's going to be a little bit of a longer chase. Only now it's going to be the down right here. The problem, however, is that on the survivor side, we are not looking onto the biggest amount of pressure when we are talking about the objectives here. Skeng hiding behind a tree, and Adam left the area as well. I think Ace running a little bit into him there. So Jinx, Plague currently able to progress the hook stages without need to fear any form of consequences and counterplay on the generators. And this is really the problem here, because then basically the killer has free time and free gameplay, you could say, in adding some hook stages, not being worried at all. You can even take the time removing some pallets here and putting yourself into a nice setup before now going into the next chase here with the survivor on this carriage. And if Void is not speeding up on the generators, we might have a pretty rough win condition here.
100%. I feel like the win condition it's looking to be, you know, 4K1 at the very least. It might be something even worse if you can find this down very quickly. Obviously, the survivors, if they really bring it back, they could make some magic happen. Maybe 4K0, but don't think I think at this juncture with 3 gens left, 1 person dead, I feel like there is a very it's just a sliver possibility that we're actually going to get some outs out the gate. So looking like we are going to potentially see our 4K for the first set. It's just going to come down to how much progress, how much pressure, like you said, can these survivors place right here onto the killer. But both players off of the gens right now, trying to rotate over, maybe trying to set up for the save. I mean, 1-for-1 with someone who maybe the ace 1-for-1ing right here, forcing it to a stage 2 might not be the worst thing in the world, just because you want to deny that pain res. But I mean, we see a Claudette coming in right here, trying to get this rescue. So yeah, it's gonna come down to whether or not they can actually. I mean, honestly, it feels like you might have to just double stack a gen just so the win condition is not as bad for your killer as well. So.
And Adam now here on the run back to the carriage. That really seems to be the circus safe zone for Team Void. They're returning here time and time again, also because it guarantees some distance to the active generators, but distance is not what the Claudette has when we're talking about the reach of the pallet here. Killer too close behind them, Skeng going down onto the floor and being thrown onto the hook as well in the distance. So ladies and gentlemen and fans of Team Void, there is a little bit of hope as Ace is now progressing the 3rd generator above the 50% mark. So Void back on the generators, realizing that the objectives are important here also when we are talking about the win conditions, as the completed generators is the first win condition that we are using to compare the performance of these teams. Ace lurking around here, wants to be careful. I really like the awareness that they are showing. No one is, even in this difficult situation, trying to overextend the greed on the generators. Whenever they are hearing the heartbeat, whenever the plague is moving towards that direction, they're instantly leaving the area, making sure that there's no risk taken. And if Void continues like this, this might be the chance where they have a little bit of a counterplay against K here. However, we need a good chase from Adam on the circus here. The vault is coming through. That's going to be K all the way moving around, and we can tell, realizing that with the Bloodlust especially, it's going to be too difficult. So they are going into the famous comp corner, potentially extending the time. There it is. 3rd generator, was just about to mention it, to at least get the 3rd one out of the way. But SSB, with how good they are now organized here, and with how they are showing us that they want to recover, I feel like they would deserve at least a 4th generator.
Yeah, I mean, it looks very possible that we could potentially see a 4th generator. I think the only issue is you can't be found right now. I think if 1 person is found right now, then I think that might make it very difficult, which, already, on the Claudette's tracks, if I'm not mistaken, but yeah, like you said, definitely pull themselves together to at least do another gen. We talked about it earlier, like, if it probably looks like it'll be a 4K1, but I mean, at this point right now, with the positioning right here, you have almost a direct line to all, you do have a direct line to all 4 gens that need to be worked on. Obviously 1 in main and then the 3 gen, where the hook is smack in the middle of it. Like, I feel like it's very hard in order to, it's hard to, like, if you get spotted, it's really hard to rotate out of it, right? And Ace kind of understands the severity of that situation, which is why you see, go back to full health. Most likely because you probably want to just take a trade right here. You can at least get hit. You can get you can get infected or whatever. Yeah, look at that. So that's just going to be straight up 1, just so Adam can stay alive a little bit longer. But this is kind of the situation you run into, is now Claudette has to get off of this gen to go pick up the ace, or which is probably what is likely going to happen. But the BL going to extend the chase just a little bit right here. And yeah, I mean, K, very good understands, you get the BL, you make it to...
Yeah, so what happened behind the scenes? We were loading into the 2nd trial, into the Plague on Father Campbell's Chapel, and it seems like we don't want to call anyone guilty, we don't want to throw the finger, but it seems like Dead by Daylight was crashing. And unfortunately, while Dead by Daylight decided to crash with all 5 million error messages that you can get, it also just decided to take our OBS from our producer with us, which causes the stream to be gone. And we can finally continue with the second trial, SSB. We were talking about 4K 3 gens as the win condition here, and how difficult that is for Void. Maybe we can just pick up there. How do you think is Move going to handle this?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. It feels like it's kind of a tall order. I feel like you need to find your first chase rather quickly. But honestly, depending on what what the build is, obviously, like I can see it, but I'm not gonna tell everyone. Y'all can just see it when the trial loads in. But having something like Thana, I think was so helpful on Plague. So I feel like I feel like most killers should really consider just continuing to run it on her, just because it does provide you very passive slowdown where all you need to do, it seems like a win-win, right? They're infected, they can't cleanse because you get power, but if they don't cleanse, their slowdown progress is I think 8% per person. So it definitely can add up quite a bit. So I feel like maybe seeing something like that, but anything that can slow down the game as much as possible, that rewards hooks. So maybe something like Grim Embrace as well. Something like Grim Embrace, Pain Res sounds pretty strong as well. So I'm curious to see what the build is going to be. I think it will come down to that. Whatever build you run in this situation, because they're predetermined, and committing to those chases, I feel like it's going to be, kind of paramount. Just trying to chase survivors as much as you can off of gens and try to get, 2, 3, 4 hook stages by the time the 4th gen pops, and then maybe you have a fighting chance. But you need someone dead yesterday to begin with. So if we don't see that, I feel like it's gonna be a little bit difficult for Move, but we'll have to see.
We are now loading into the trial here. I absolutely agree with what you said. You need someone dead by yesterday, basically. You have to hope, basically, that DBD is kicking out 2 survivors, and then you are loading in against only 2 survivors, and that the staff team of DBDL is also not noticing that 2 people of Jinx are missing. This is basically what Void needs here. I think our point came across. It will be a horrible win condition for the killer of Team Void, and it is also the chance at the same time to make himself known as the most legendary comeback Plague to date. This is the chance that we definitely have here. The teams are allowed to adjust their builds because they loaded in without our producer, so they potentially saw the survivor and killer builds of each other. And whenever there's a factor involved that is related to the game or related to an external factor, then the teams are allowed to change their builds to ensure that there's no advantage given to any of the competitors. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, Moonmats, K, and Dark on the survivor side, and Move for Team Void. Win condition again, 4K on 3 generators still standing. Corrupt Intervention is certainly going to help a little bit with the slowdown here at the beginning. And I feel like the Grim Pop Eruption SSB, that's an aggressive as hell combination. But if we are having early downs and if we get this entire show kicking off, I feel like this build could carry the power to make the miracle happen.
Yeah, okay, first of all, again, dad joke, guys. I want y'all type dad in chat every time you hear the dad jokes coming in from Direwolf. Obviously, yes, we do need some kicks. We need plenty of kicks, right? So that's going to make this build happen. It's going to make the matchup happen. But like you said, this is unironically a build that could work, but you do need to get this down onto Dark, and that just, that main building, just where everything kind of spawned in right there, a little bit unfortunate for Move, and that just forces Move to drop chase, which is not really what you want right from the start. In a perfect scenario is you had Dark dead to right now, then you get the hook and Grim Embrace procs, and then you have Pop to kick a gen, and then Eruption onto the gen, and there you go. That's a good start, but unfortunately not going to be able to pan out right here. Honestly, I'm not sure how the survivors are going to treat this, but they can play very safe. If they want to pre-drop a good pallet and make hella distance that is definitely within their own rights, and honestly it might be optimal given the win condition. All they need to do is hold chase. All they need to do is not go down, and all I need to do is just slam gens other than that. So, you know, obviously, you know, Dark probably not even resetting, knowing I'm just gonna go, you know, slam a gen right now, especially because Dana's not even in play either. So definitely gonna be pretty useful for them to know that information. But right now, we're trying to see the fully infected right here on the K, but not able to get anything right now. And yeah, like we said, 1 gen already popping and 2 gens at 50. Yeah, this is already, this looks really rough.
Yeah, I was just about to mention, it is looking like a little bit, everything is taking a little bit too long. And I don't mean too long when we are talking about a normal play game. I feel like Move is absolutely doing fine for the average normal play game that you play any other day in the comp environment. But it's way too slow when we are talking about this win condition of 4K needed on 3 generators still standing. Because with Moon now finishing the generator in the distance, it is going to be the tie, and a few seconds later it is going to be a Dark coming up with the generator as well. So we should be all good. It is now going to be Grim Embrace last second though, delaying the decision a little bit longer, but there's the tie coming in now, and Dark will follow right after with the another generator. So Jinx looking really strong here. They had a great first chase as well, 2 minutes and 39 seconds compared to the 1 minute 46 that we have seen in the previous trial. So definitely stronger here on that end. The power is coming out just now, so we can tell that Move is trying to make a move here. But unfortunately, the time is not really going to be on the side. I'm not entirely sure if the HUD was confusing a little bit and not synchronized there, because I felt like Jinx had a 3rd generator ready to go. Maybe there was a little bit of a desync on the HUD, because then this would be the chance now to make a little bit of a comeback here. Yet the main building gen is looking pretty close to the completion here.
Yeah, main looks really close. Obviously, you know, based on the progress that we had seen and seeing that gen regressing, you know, off camera, I think we saw the pop go on the main gen. But yeah, like you said, like this is just tough right here. You see Dark threatening the possibility of going down to get this rescue, but just like that, 1 more gen pops, and yeah, I mean, like we said, this was going to be very difficult to begin with. Just because, you know, it was just a rather, it felt like a rather slow start based on what you needed. But at the end of the day, that is kind of Plague in a nutshell. Like, there's not really, Plague isn't as fast as some of the other, you know, higher tier killers, or even some of the killers in her tier as well. So that kind of makes it very difficult. Mobility is very difficult. Like, you have a ranged attack, but it's a very situational one, and survivors can just deny it by not cleansing if you don't run something like Apple, which is why you see double Apple, but even then not enough to get anything started, to get a snowball going. So you know, it's just kind of rather unfortunate. A win condition like that, like we said, you know, obviously very difficult, but you know, just a lack of mobility, that's like one of the main reasons to why this is so difficult, right?
Moon, Dark, K, and Mats will also make sure now that they are not just stopping with this win, right? Getting the 3rd generator here and having the first set point for themselves this early is very great. But they will move. Oh, okay, here with the snipe a little bit. Was just about to say that they are now making sure that all the gens will be completed, and they will take some outs of the door here. They want to tell Void, we are stronger, we are more efficient on the generators, we can run you. So yeah, it is not going to be the only mission to achieve the set point here. Jinx is going to lurk for more. Interesting decision now to go for the cleanse here. Maybe the team is also counting the fact that they just got the set point for themselves, so they can go for the cleanse, and in case anything is going wrong right now and there's a, I don't know, the most horrible snowball into the 4K, then you at least still have the set point and you can move on in a good way. Matt's here waiting on the shack. I'm not sure if the Plague, yeah, she should be aware that the survivor is over here. We do see the 1v1 action starting, but it seems like Move is backing out from the ladder match, and now he's coming back one more time, wants to take the second chance here and getting the survivor down. But even this here here is now going to take a little bit. Great puke though through the pallet here and making sure that the survivor is going down much quicker than he was expecting. In the distance, we can tell that the pressure is spread again. Dark is also back to being infected, so making sure that he's taking care of the objectives there. Grim going to save a little bit of time, but our killer will need more pressure if this is supposed to end in a 4K here.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, obviously the pop definitely going to add a lot of pressure, going to slow this down a little bit. Obviously, someone has to be around here, but just again, the lack of mobility just makes it so hard for you to just commit to something like that. But now we see double stacking a gen. We see Mads on a different gen because we saw that infect, and that actually didn't. We saw move infect the gen in Carnival, and Matt's not getting infected, so you got to know that someone else is elsewhere on a different gen, and that's exactly where Mads is. So I mean, their pressure is pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. They did chase, I think Move did chase some people off of this gen next to Shaq, but still looking pretty primed to get yet another generator completed here. A little bit of a situation at Shaq right here. I mean, this is a little rough. I mean, you have this pallet gem right here, and you have oh, that's gonna be down. Nice. Yeah, and that's gonna be eruption as well. But you also have Shaq right here, so there's just like so many resources here next to the gen. So even if you do get chased off, like Move is gonna have to really work hard for that tag right there. But definitely gonna get it right there. One more Grim stack if you can find. I believe it's Mads, but I could be wrong on that. But finds K, continuing to find something right here. And the thing is like an individual chase, K is like very, very strong. We've seen K, compete in 1v1s. I think they're on DBD ladder as well. So, definitely very strong 1v1 in their own right. Can hold chase very well. As survivors go over to rotate to pick up survivors to complete gens, and yeah, that's gonna be the pop right here. Unless we see Move come back right here, but it doesn't look like that's gonna happen just yet. And that's gonna be but it's not gonna be enough time right here. Gonna get the last generator completed right here. Yeah. This is the down. You probably hook. Everyone runs across to the gate, and probably just gets out right here at this point, right?
Yeah, very impressed that Jinx is, with this little amount of stages, also pulling through here and getting all the generators done. Very, very well done from the team. And as we talked about, it does have some impact. This mentality that you're taking out of the first set. You are now 1-0 in this best of 5, closer to qualifying for the main stage here. And you are doing it in a quite significant way. We are not talking about one hook stage. We are not talking about a little bit of a difference here. Instead, we are talking, I don't want to say dominance yet, but we definitely talk about a very clear difference between Team Jinx and Team Void. And the good thing for Jinx is they just took the first set point and they're gonna stay on the survivor side. So they are feeling confident, they are feeling coordinated, and K also moving out of the door here after unfortunately not getting the Shack right there. 3 out against Void's Plague. Very, very well done. We will be quick now, ladies and gentlemen. We are behind schedule with this a little bit of a sabotage that happened here, and we'll bring you the second set as quick as we can. Stay tuned and refill your drinks. Take care.
Welcome back, everyone. It is time finally for the second set of the match. Right now we're going to be seeing some Singularity action already setting up the wave of the web of cameras already ready to go with the biopods. Gets an immediate TP right here. Definitely can get a tag pretty soon right here, even if you pre-drop. Oh, I love the mind game right there. Actually, very, very smart right there to go all the way out and then barely just double back just to make Move think that you were going to get that, you were going to try to like get that pallet drop or pallet stun. So it gets a short swing, but it was just enough. Like the awareness, the spacing was really good. And now all you're kind of left doing is having to, oh, never mind. Yeah, all you're left doing is checking cameras and maybe picking up another survivor, because Mads is definitely very much long gone.
Very long gone indeed. We are now having the teleport here onto Dark. Move trying to get the first injury here, or the second injury, but getting the first severe impact on the first survivor, so to say. Someone that you can chase right after, someone that you can down because they're in a difficult position. Dark here with a very nice attempt of confusing the killer. Doesn't work out though. Move a little bit too experienced for that. Is it going to be the first down in the next few seconds? That's going to be the question here. Back and forth around this filler pallet between the two rocks, and we can tell that the people, the players of Jinx are all active in the 1v1 leaderboard that we have on the DBDLeague Discord. So much 1v1 experience, but Dark ultimately coming down here. That's good for Move and very important to get the first down. We are talking about a chase time of 1 minute 45 until the first down came through, but even more important that this generator here with a lot of progress is now not only stopped, but also the killer has a chance to defend it together with the hook. But Jinx realizes that and goes for an extremely fast unhook to deny that. That's a wonderful counterplay by these survivors here.
Yeah, very, very strong counterplay right there. Still gets another gen popped in the distance as well, so very, very good awareness right there. And yeah, like you said, these guys 1v1 gods right here. I mean, God Rock very, very strong right there. Unfortunately, we did see that pallet being dropped by someone else. A medium vault right there, not going to be enough. Gets hit through the window, and that's going to be another pain rest. That gen's about to get pain rest twice in the span of like 60 seconds. Actually kind of diabolical. So that gen, you know, Move said that gen belongs to me. Y'all can go work on other ones. That one is mine specifically. There are many like it, but this one is mine. But I mean, you double stack the gen, it's good enough. It's good enough to still, you know, get through it and complete it. So yeah, very, very good stuff. Very good awareness right there from the survivors to just, you know, sit there and kind of just, you know, push through the pressure right there. So already 2 gens done rather quickly right here. 2 pain races as well. So this mid game about to be interesting. Pop's gonna have to work wonders right here, especially once you find, you know, survivors that have already been hooked, like non-fresh survivors.
Now we are here with the next form of scouting. We were talking about it in the campfire chat, the Singularity here with all the camera, the map pressure. You can really hold down the location, making sure that the survivors are unable to rotate over here. Move is trying to do exactly that. I feel like he learned a little bit from Jinx saving so quickly and showing such a great counterplay. This time he'll make sure that this survivor that is currently on the hook is not going to get away that easily. Total switch of the tactics there, and it is going to be the unhook, and it's not even going to be the trade. What an unfortunate situation here. The killer not able to defend the hooked survivor at all. Usually you're at least able to secure a trade, but here the survivor is moving away, and A is also able to lay down in the pallet, so they can play for a pallet save. They can make it so much more difficult. They can waste time even by sending a survivor who's constantly baiting for the potential pallet save. Now the teleport here as Move has to keep Moon slacked, but of course Mads and Dark, they're going to run over there. They're going to make sure that it's going to be the quick rescue, and now all 4 survivors back up. Move is trying a lot. At the beginning he tried chasing the survivors aggressively. After that he's trying to lock down the hooked survivor. Now he's trying to snowball, and SSB, I feel like nothing works. Jinx is too good.
Yeah, nothing works. I mean, you know, already back up, you know, picking up the survivor back up rather quickly right here. And yeah, I think that was something, I think that might have been like desperate measures or something, which is why we saw that unhook so quickly, because obviously we saw the yellow bar of the unhook happen so fast and a little bit too far away. And then the EMPs have actually been cooking right now as well, so can't even teleport. So gonna have to rotate somewhere else, and yeah, it looks like that's probably what it was, desperate measures. So seeing Dark have it, but yeah, I mean, it's crazy to think about how all of that, you know, you had 2 injured, 1 down, and instead of maybe going after the other injured person who you hit, who tried to trade, you know, you end up teleporting over to someone else to stop gem progress, but unfortunately not able to pan out the way that you wanted it to, and now you have this God Rock right here having to drop that pallet, obviously still having another filler right here. Very, very good awareness to lunge through. No one home for it though, not enough distance, but yeah, just like that. it feels like the game was starting to, you know, reach a stalemate, you know, potentially even a, you know, in the favor of Move. But now, just like that, I mean, you get it down right here, but, you know, just like that, I mean, three fully healed, you know, and another gen done, you know, somewhere in the distance. So I feel like we're probably going to see yet another one sometime very soon right here. But yeah, not gonna be chasing the survivors off. Very good stuff right there. Pain Rest gonna be doing its magic, and you have Pop ready for another gen that someone inevitably has been working on.
Yeah, starting to get a little bit worried here for Move, because we need to keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, that we are talking about the second set already, and Jinx, currently on the survivor side, has taken the Plague set. So Void would really like to make it into the tie here, and for that you need a good killer performance in the first trial of this set, and unfortunately generator number 4 is already good to go. Scouting with the cameras a little bit, again trying to catch these survivors that are currently progressing the gens, making sure that they are busy and not allowing them to go for the objectives here. They are starting a new generator over here. This one has 50% already, so we can also tell that Jinx is doing a good job in splitting the pressure here, which ultimately makes it more and more difficult for the killer to get the grasp on the survivors, because whenever you are looking into this location and chasing a survivor over here at main in your back, you are very well aware that all the survivors are hopping immediately onto the generators, and you feel like you constantly have to be at 2 or 3 locations. Now the Singularity with all the teleports can certainly provide a lot more map pressure than other killers, yet if the survivors are having long chases, and Jinx is providing good and long successful chases, even though the resources are shrinking at the moment here. Wonderful check spot on the TNL, waiting until the killer appears on the other side, and then with full confidence going into the vault. Unfortunately, after the teleport, it is not going to be a second vault, so this is going to be the hook stage onto K here, but Mathis and Dark in the distance taking care of a generator. Moon rotating over as well, so they can all together work on the objectives here. That's now going to be Moon busy though, as he's in danger with the potential teleport. So Move is not looking helpless. He's trying and attempting, and I really honor that. But if Jinx is not making a mistake here, I feel like it's going to be tricky for our Singularity.
100%. I mean, like you said, I mean, the survivors play so coordinated. You know, they are solid in their own right for sure. So, you know, the fact that we see them this early in qualification, and we might see them, you know, the way that they're playing like they are going to officially be in our winter circuit, you know, coming up pretty soon. So, you know, it's gonna be great to see how they might fare against some of these other big hitter teams. I mean, look, K, Mads, Moon, Dark, all mainstays. You've seen them as part of other teams as well in the past. So, you know, no strangers to comp, right? Which is sometimes what we see out of these qualification stages. We see teams kind of on the rise coming in and trying to turn some heads. So this is already a very established team, so it just makes it that much more difficult. And just like that, understanding what the killer wants, understanding how to deny the killer power right there. You see someone else, I believe, will start coming with the EMP just to try to delay this down onto Moon. And I mean, obviously you see Move continuing to try to find this right here, but I mean, you can't really do anything. You're gonna get the tag on the Dark, but you know, maybe a mind game right here. No, just gonna commit to the tag. So I mean, you have 3 survivors, you know, around. So oh my god, that was just a little bit unfortunate right there. Ends up getting the you know, the last generator completed as well. And this is the situation where if you have, I mean, that's a down, but if you have everyone, you know, in one place and the gate spawned in a favorable position, you might just take the outs right there.
Yeah, this is now going to be the final hook stages that we can collect here for Move, and hopefully he will be able to secure those. For Mathis, that's definitely going to be the case, and it is a fresh hook, so Jinx needs to make a careful calculation now. Is it going to be the entire team coming back and going to save this survivor? On the one hand, I would totally understand if they're trying to make it happen. On the other hand, I feel like they have a very good reason to leave, because you would take this result any other day, I feel like, on the Singularity, especially when we are talking about the Cold Tower. We do see a little bit of printing action here. Hopefully that's going to be in color and not only black and white. Meanwhile, Move is going to take care of the cameras, trying to see if the survivors are opting to come over here. Dark is taking care of the other exit gate as well. So everything would be set up for a last second rescue here, trying to improve the win condition a little bit. And it does actually look like they're going for the attempt. I'm not sure. We have seen in AHL specifically a lot of teams that were trying to use the end game to improve their win condition, and very often it did not end successfully. So we can only hope that Jinx is performing this better. K is the survivor that you can certainly have on the sacrifice here. Moon, Mats and Dark are now trying to make it towards the exit gate, but there's no protection for our injured survivors. We can hear the footsteps behind ourselves. SSB, this is looking, if you're asking me, a little bit too chaotic for a coordinated save.
Yeah, 100%. And like you said, K dead on hook. So if anyone's gonna die, you know, it should be K. But I mean, they already rotated over to pick up K during all that madness of trying to down Mads right there. Understanding that Mads has 2 more hook stages, so you might be able to find some magic happen right here. So, but I mean, like you said, you know, this is a little bit too chaotic for my liking as well. But we could see a potential fumble from the survivors right here if they don't play this carefully enough. But yeah, like right. They're just gonna get the down on the mats anyways, so everyone running away. I think this is where you cut your losses. I think this is where you decide, you know what, like, it is what it is. We take an extra 2 stages, which is a little bit unfortunate because Mads went down earlier. And wait, are you gonna get another one? Are you? Oh, okay. I mean, this is still a little chaotic. They're going back into the map. Like, everyone's hurt too, so it's not like, you know, you don't really have time to reset. Wait, what was that?
No way.
Hello?
No way.
Did you grab the wrong locker? Like, what is going on? That's actually insane. I mean, we're seeing content creator clips being made. So, yeah, Mads picked up already. I mean, Mads and Moon both kind of in the same situation. And yeah, I mean, they are being very aggressive. They do not want to give an extra 2-3 hook stages to this killer, but I mean, the way it's looking right now, I mean, I think Dark is on first hook as well, so you gave up, low-key, you might have given up a little bit too many stages for your liking. Like, if you just let Mads die, that's 2 extra hook stages. But now you've given one from Moon, another one from Moon, and potentially 2 from Dark, which is 3 stages, which, you know, it ends up being 4 in total. Yeah, it ends up being 4 extra stages in total, so like, doing the math, you know, you end up sacrificing an extra hook stage to try to make everything happen. So, you know, but it is what it is. You know, Jinx played it really aggressively. Still not the end of the world. Still pretty good result. Which, if I'm not mistaken, that might have been 9 stages, if my math is correct. Because everyone was dead on hook by the end of the game, and then obviously Dark died. So, not the worst thing in the world, but I feel like that could have been like a 7 or 6 stage game.
Absolutely. It should have been a lot less, or yeah, a lot maybe not, but definitely less stages than what we have here. And this is a little bit what I was scared about. When teams are moving in last second in the end game, it sometimes turns a little bit too chaotic. And yeah, so now we're talking about 8 stages instead of 6. We will get that confirmed in the back end as well, but definitely 2 stages minimum were added here that were not really, let's say, necessary when we're looking at the game plan. So we will find out how Jinx is going to counter that. They are now going to take the killer role. Basically, win condition would be 3 kills. That equals 9 stages. and would be enough. So we are going to set this up, and we will be back for you in a few moments. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are on the call tower, and K is playing the Singularity for Jinx here. It is not going to be the easiest task anymore due to the little bit of a chaotic endgame that we have seen, but 9 stages, so an equivalent of 3 full kills, will be leading into the 2-0 for Team Jinx. So let's see what's going to happen in this trial. We are having Corrupt Intervention for a little bit of a slowdown. We have the Deadlock as well, making a return into competitive DBD, even on the stronger killers, for a little bit of a slowdown. And paired with that, we have Pop Goes the Weasel and Painrest to help a little bit with the generator regression. Always an aggressive build, because then you're basically saying, I will get the 4 fresh hooks to get the most value out of it. And let's see if we can use the cameras and the teleportation in order to achieve that. Quick vault here, right after the teleport, and it seems like we are choosing a different strategy compared to the first trial. This time it's going to be focusing one survivor and getting them down onto the floor as quick as possible. We remember 1 minute 45 it was in the previous trial, and it feels like this was a quicker down than in trial number 1. Shout out to our tournament analyst Toby in the background. This was 1 minute 21, so already looking good for Team Jinx here.
Yeah, definitely looking good already, but I think the survivors, you know, obviously while they might not be as like analytically sound, right, but they probably have a good feel of like, well, that felt a lot quicker than it was earlier, so they probably are also that's kind of why you see them very aggressive right here, trying to distract the killer a little bit, maybe have them come into a different chase just so you can pick up the other survivor, which is exactly what happened. But so if anything, you know, it feels like, you know, while it was a quicker down, and while the gen progress kind of halted a little bit to get that pickup, it's roughly kind of about the same, right, at the end of the day, in terms of when you get the down and when you get the hook. And someone's right here, and you still get the stun. Someone was behind you. That was so unfortunate right there. Great awareness from the survivors, great teamwork, and I love the presence of mind from, I believe, it might have been, I'm not sure who it was, who kind of like showed up in front of K, just to kind of make them think that they were safe, not realizing someone was right behind them. But we're gonna see the pickup finally, and we're gonna see the first gen also get completed, which now triggers the other perk that we have, which is Deadlock. We don't normally, I feel like I haven't seen people run Deadlock in quite some time, but obviously it doesn't mean it's not a strong perk. Very strong perk in their own right. Gives you an idea of where the gen, like obviously it shows you where the gen's being worked on, but it also helps you make inferences as to where the survivors are positioned as well. So something to note for sure. Gonna get the pop right there onto another gen right there. So yeah, really, really good awareness right here. Okay, not the worst start in the world, but yeah, I mean the survivors definitely pulled themselves out of a pickle earlier for sure.
Now we are in need a little bit of more pressure. I feel like we're still having our 2 healthy survivors down there, and after this very good start for our killer, it became a little bit silent around the killers. Okay, here in the next mind game, trying to go all the way around, but Claudette is going to take the pallet, and it was an understandable swing if there wouldn't be the Lithe protecting the Claudette's gang with a very, very good chase here, making sure that more time for the Singularity is lost, and K decides to keep the focus on this survivor. It breaks the pallet with the teleport all together, mind gaming a little bit around here, and that's going to be the down right here. But I certainly think we should see a second generator coming out as a punishment, or alternatively a good amount of progress on other individual generators here. Second hook stage, so the strategy for the killer is clear. He wants to make sure that one survivor is eliminated as quick as possible. Deadlock is going to help a little bit, as it's going to lock our Yui here in the main building for a moment without being productive. In the meanwhile, Ace and Nia are getting new EMPs and potentially the reset a little bit. Yeah, they are meeting up now in the main building, so they are not wasting the time. but it's not going to be put into the generators for now, so there might be the chance now for K to eliminate this survivor and still having 3 generators to defend afterwards. I do expect 1 survivor at least to come in the next couple of seconds here. K expects that as well. Main building getting finished here. Yeah, now it's all about eliminating Skeng from this trial as quick as possible.
Yeah, 100%, and that's why you see another survivor right here, but I mean, the way that it looks, yeah, are you going to try to find something right here? Yeah, this is a 2-man save that we've been seeing, so yeah, we're gonna have to see, yeah, just in the nick of time, almost right to the last millisecond, ends up getting the rescue, and now you're gonna have to spend a little bit more time trying to get this down right here, and yeah, it's going to take quite some time, with the light actually adding a little bit more time, but obviously with the buff to the Singularity right there. Oh, the EMP coming in to save a little bit. Makes it all the way to Shaq. Still pretty good scenario right here. And man, I mean, just like that though, it feels like, you know, maybe these survivors have actually, are actually still kind of in a not terrible position right here. So we're gonna have to see what ends up happening right here, but you know, we're probably gonna get this down relatively soon. No, never mind, mind gaming yourself a little bit unlucky right here. Still has the speed right here. I don't even think he makes this window though. 50-50 right here, no one home, but the pallet's gone. The down is all but inevitable. Yeah, it looks like that's exactly what is gonna happen right here. So gonna get the final hook right here onto Skeng, onto Claudette, but not before 2 extra generators popped in the distance. Obviously, Deadlock going to come in to potentially block a generator, but I mean, 1 dead at 1 stay. I mean, if you fully reset and you communicate properly and you play the cameras very well, you could still make this result work out in your favor. You know, especially because we have a bunch of fresh hooks as well.
Absolutely, our killer has a lot of potential here, especially after removing this first survivor from the trial. Now K needs to find a good balance between pressure the survivors, chasing the survivors, and protecting these generators. He has a few over here though. This is the good and important thing to mention. So the generators that are currently being worked on are somewhat close by. You can certainly defend that with a few good cameras. Nia came in to help here, Yui it was, coming in to help here with the EMP, making sure that the little bit of progress that the killer just earned by applying all of these onto the survivors is going to be reset again. Killer looking around a little bit, checking on the generators, resetting a few of the cameras, but we only have 1 more to go, so it's not the safest situation for the killer at the moment, and everyone is healed. This is something that Void has really well done throughout the trial. They have always made sure that an injury that is coming in is compensated immediately, and they haven't lost too much time and too many stages doing this, as they were all pulling back, for example, into the main building, as we have seen earlier, while still taking care of the Anok. So this is something that Void has really well done there, and this might be the key element that is pushing them into success here in this trial. We see them around again. This time the teleport will come through. It's going to be ace, but with the sprint burst it's going to be just enough to avoid the injury. Yeah, our killer clearly trying to take the control, trying to monitor the generators as good as possible, but it feels like Void is becoming stronger and more organized.
Yeah, 100%. It feels like, you know, after, so we saw obviously the first set on Plague, we saw, you know, while they were still playing very valiantly, it felt like we just saw Jinx play just way more together, way more organized, way more locked in. And I feel like we're starting to see that coming from Void as well, taking chases into zones, you know, that, you know, require you to have to like travel all the way across map to just protect gens, defend gens, you know, which is another fresh right here. But I mean, still, I mean, during all that time, like how many EMP, like, can you disrupt, you know, the cameras with EMP? You know, how is your gen pressure right here? Like, there's so much that you don't know, but because of the pace of the game right now, I think you can't even go check gens, and you just have to kind of hope that, you know, things are kind of working out in your favor, because you have to take chase right here. And just like that, move all the way across the map right here, working on the last generator, and has some pretty good progress. So you got to think that K might need to, change who you're rotating towards just to try to stop this last gen. But the way that it looks like right now, it looks like we're going to see that gen pop by the time we get this ace onto the match.
It's now going to be the down right here. Now it starts to fall apart. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here with the... oh, they are getting the final generated. Oh, but we need some stages out of the door. And unfortunately, Move also has this little... what is it? A power thingy on the back, so that's going to be the quick teleportation, and therefore it's going to be the very likely final chase of this trial, except Yui is now going into an absolute shred mode, losing the killer, picking up the team member, unhooking, and going on an absolute masterclass of Dead by Daylight. But since this is not happening, we are congratulating Jinx to achieving the second set point here. 2-0, only one more set, and they made it to the main stage of the winter circuit. So all the pressure on to Void now. But SSB, I see one hope and one potentially, because this survivor trial all the way until the end now, where it unfortunately fell apart a little bit, but until then it was a very respectable and good survivor performance that they can definitely use for the upcoming trial here.
Yeah, 100%. I think that they actually got a little bit unlucky just because they were a little bit too greedy when it comes down to the last gen being worked on. But yeah, like you said, up until that point, they were actually on pace to, they were playing, quote unquote, they were playing better than Jinx's survivors. So, if that's any indication on how, the third set will go, I mean, this is far from over at the very least. So, especially as someone like Hillbilly, who can just bring it all the way back, and, definitely snowball momentum is crazy for you as well. I definitely think that we could potentially see some magic happen for sure.
Hopefully we see some magic happen, because a 3-0 doesn't really feel, I don't know, right, I want to say, but they were trying so hard that I feel like they would deserve at least one win of a set here and putting themselves in a good result. We are seeing a little bit of Moon. Maybe that is even a little bit of paying respect to the team member of Jinx, saying hello. Or we're trying to imitate a wolf. Not entirely sure what's happening there in the VC down there for Team Jinx. But yeah, very, very well played here. 2-0 for Team Jinx. And we will keep being fast, ladies and gentlemen, as we are behind schedules with the technical difficulties that we encountered earlier. So we are hopping on a quick break, and we'll see you with the third and potentially last set of this series right after a very short break.
Welcome back, everyone. Here comes our third, potentially final set right here against the DMR Billy, who is another, another staple of the comp scene. So, and already getting it down, but getting the stun right there as well onto Shaq. Very well worth the sacrifice for sure. And that's actually crazy because you don't get you lose corrupt, and you don't even get a hook stage for it, which is one of the advantages of getting an early down. Is that sure, you lose corrupt, but at least you get a hook stage. You're denied both of those things. And Dystopia bringing the no mither. Always a good time to see it. We've seen a lot of survivors run this whenever they play against the Billy. Obviously, because a lot of Billy's win cons are based around slugging. So we're gonna see a little bit of that. We're gonna see some pickups as well. But yeah, interesting build as well right here with the 3 slowdown. And I'm actually excited. Do you know what that right perk is? Because I actually I'm not sure.
Yeah, first of all, we need to point out how good of a Billy DMI is. He's an absolute famous person when it comes to that. And for your other question, the 4th perk is Wretched Fate. That is one of the new experts that we have into the game, and it relates to the generators. Whenever they are completed, we are having a dull totem cursing the obsession from now on, and as long as this hex totem is standing, they are going to have a pretty significant penalty in the repair speed. I believe it's 30%. So basically, what we had in the past with Dying Light, it's basically the equivalent, if you want to call it like this, for the obsession after generator is completed. So I don't think that Dystopia is worrying about the generator speed at the moment, because they are down here on the floor, and they have certainly some other worries at the moment. But now, after no matter value is coming out, they can go back onto the generator here, but with a very, very reduced speed. So either you deal with it, almost like Dying Light penalty, Pentimento, something like this, or you are wasting your time on finding the hex totem. So this is where the big beneficial for the killer coming out. Must say, I like how DMR is handling this at the moment. He's guarding the person in the basement, achieved the second hook stage, made sure that the survivors cannot clean the hex totem, so he's taking care of so many things at once. I really love this micromanagement here.
Yeah, I mean, that's ultimately why Lily is such a strong killer, and why after the buff he's a tier 1 killer, right? Is because he has that mobility to just defend the multiple things at the same time, no matter what. Going to try to get another swing right here, not going to get anything. Yeah, I love the check spots right there from the ace. That's going to be a drop right here. Potentially, no! Oh my god, the mind game right there. You think that he's holding that check spot still, but you see him just rotate over, so really, really good awareness. Still not able to get this down right here. Another generator pops right here in favor of these survivors of Team Void, and DMR trying to find something, unfortunately ends up breaking a wall right there, or hitting a wall, you know, getting some wood for the campfire chat, right? So going to end up continuing this chase right here. Not able to get this down, but you gotta think that it's coming pretty soon right here. Can you find some magic happen? And yeah, just a safe pre-drop right there. Man, this ace is holding it down. An absolute unit right before that M1 finally got the down right there. Gonna get the pickup right here for sure.
Yeah, very nice down here for DMR, but an important extension a little bit. Survivor team certainly got some time towards them, and we now have 3 generators already completed. Unfortunately though, one of the survivors leaving the trial now. This will mark a turning point in the trial, because whenever the killer is only facing 3 survivors, most of the time one of them is going to be on the hook. One of them is responsible for the save, and the third one is in a new chase. And this eliminates the generator pressure basically down to 0. But to make this a reality, DMR needs to make sure that he's going to catch these survivors, and they are currently playing a little bit of a hide and seek. They're even using the basement for that and making sure that they are all staying hidden here. DMR spending quite a lot of time here on the edge of the map, and I mean, he has a good reason to be here. There is someone around. It's just unfortunate that he cannot find where exactly they are here. So this little bit of a time loss might be in favor of Team Void here. They will now have the chance to hop back onto the generators, getting some progress in, and DMR expecting that the survivor is going down here, and he is so right about that. Mind games now around the lockers here. Move is doing a good job, wasting some extra seconds, but it's going to happen. We have a new down, and now DMR can slowly try to take over.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, yeah, DMR definitely slowly but surely starting to make some magic happen right here. We see the chainsaw all the way towards the main building, which is not where this Claudette is working on a different gen, but you see the pickup coming right here. Now, what is the game plan right here? If you are DMR, it looks like it's going to be as soon as you get that notification, you go back to basement, try to make something happen right here. As another generator pops, you body block this window. You want to confirm this down for sure. I mean, you get this down, and then you just drop chase and go for Dystopia. No, just gonna end up getting the pickup right here just to confirm another hook stage, right? Obviously, you know, you don't want to drop Tage, go for Dystopia, down slug, and then go back to get the pickup, which is what optimally you should do. You know, especially because of the no mither, it ends up being that much more difficult. And because Moof was on Death Hook, and made much more sense to do that, which, you know, makes sense. DMR getting some more slowdown right here, thanks to Pop Goes the Weasel. Going to try to find something here. I mean, this is the situation where, you know, if you play very stealthy and, you know, you can get some progress going, you might be able to, you know, make some magic happen. But the thing is that Billy can just go from point A to point B rather quickly, and they just communicate when they're chainsawing to one side of the map or the other. And yeah, just like that, finding Dystopia right here. This chase is not going to last long enough in order for Claudette to get the gen done.
What a disgusting hit, bro! Someone needs to clip it and send it as an email to behavior. What was that? Sorry. I just couldn't believe what we were just witnessing there on the shack. That is also making a very harsh turn here into the chase with the Claudette. We have the good news that the no Myra is there on the Survivor, so there's one last hope for the Survivor team at the moment, and not the instant 4K basically. But SSB, it really looks like Void is with the back against the wall.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, this is kind of the situation that, I mean, the 2v1 is never fun to deal with, right? Like, the 2v1 is always, you know, continuously, you know, going from one place to the other, knowing where both survivors want to be. You know, these are the two gens that are the furthest apart, so you know that those are the ones that they're going to be working on. But the thing is like Hillbilly can just make it from one side of the map to the other in seconds, and that just makes it so much more difficult for you to try to, work on two separate gens. So, but obviously you don't want to double stack either, because that makes it that much more difficult for you to end up getting anything happen, because as soon as you get it down, then it just goes for the other person. And right there, Dystopia with the jukes, holding down the fort like a unit, absolute unit right here. Is that going to be enough? No, still not enough, and the pallet is still down. Gets a swing and a miss, though. We're playing Minecraft over here, my friends. And are we going to be able to get this down finally? No, still nothing. And, you know, we said that this is a tough situation, but is it enough? You can't even, oh my god, this is, there's no way that this, yeah, you have to drop Chase. I was about to say, how, like, I wonder how much progress that generator ended up doing, but ended up getting. But I mean, this is those are the moments that, you know, you have your absolute juicer on the no mither for a good reason, you know, like, you know, very lots to lose, and still ends up playing rather effectively, getting these crazy chases, holding it down for quite some time. And yeah, now DMR has to play ping pong back and forth between generator here at main and generator at shack in order to continue the pressure. But I mean, as soon as you drop Chase, the other person is just right around to pick up the next generator, but gets the down right there. And yeah, just like that, Eruption doing his magic. And now this is the ideal scenario. You down the person who isn't able to pick themselves up, and just like that, 4K1. But man, a little bit of a scare right there, for sure.
Absolutely, and this also seals the deal, ladies and gentlemen, in the potentially final set in this best of 5 here. It was so important that Team Void is coming out with a strong survivor performance, but unfortunately it is going to be the 4K with the generator left, and this means a lot for the win condition. The best thing about it is the win condition is very easy to judge. It is basically just getting all the generators done. You don't have to worry about getting any outs. You can just, in best way, triple, quadruple, stack the final generator if needed, getting it out of the way and taking the win. And it, unfortunately, once again means that Void's killer has a lot to do there. One thing that I also want to point out is that we are having a second game after this, so even if it's going to be decided in the next trial, don't step anywhere. We're going to have Affliction and Bomb playing against each other, two very talented teams that are trying to get their name into the community, and they are both from the South American community, so it's going to be the ultimate showdown between the talented newcomers from that part of the community, so very exciting game ahead of us. whilst Gang and Dystopia are going to face the darkness here on the hook, we are already announcing the short break that is ahead of us. Make sure that you're all staying hydrated, refill your drinks, update your snack bar, and enjoy your DBDLeague decorated brownies that you of course baked today to make yourself a wonderful day. We are going to show you trial number 6 between Jinx and Void after this very short break. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the last hope for Team Void. So let's hope that we're having a good first chase, and the Mathis survivor is actually the best option you could ask for. You only need an M1 to get the first down and a few millimeters off here. Shack pallet not even breaking with the chainsaw, so Lara Croft will be able to get a little bit of extra distance. And that's going to be enough of a reason to try finding the next survivor. Unfortunately being stopped by a tree here, so the early game not going as perfect as you could ask for, but Dark is in a difficult spot here because it's possible for the Billy to go around these rocks, but it's a back and forth between Survivor and Killer, and Jinx on the way of reaching the main stage of the Winter Circuit is now playing with all the confidence, and SSB, this is looking like a strong early game for the Survivors.
Yeah, definitely a strong game for sure. Gonna have to see what ends up popping right here for Move. Definitely needs to get a down right here. Unfortunately, not able to make that curve happen. You know, obviously you saw the Survivor run into frame directly right there, but looking to rotate over, maybe at least start to chase people off these gens. But everyone understands that, you know, where they're what gens are working on. They know what tile is next to them where they have some sort of safety, so they're delaying that like immediate threat of the chainsaw right from the get-go. This is kind of like a blind guess. If you can guess correctly, you might be able to get something here, but I mean, Matt's doing a really good job of like just holding the check spots really well. Whenever Move wants to get a chainsaw rev right here, gonna have to get the M1, and yeah, now you kind of just W, but you kind of really don't make it anywhere. You have a probably like a not great pallet somewhere right here. Never mind, you actually do make it to a pretty decent pallet, but I mean, Billy can get around these very easily as you see the chase being dropped in immediately for sure. So I mean, Jinx playing this really well. This might be the last set that they play today as well, like you said earlier. So I mean, they're playing so organized, you know, so they're gonna have to come up with something big here to move.
And the silence on the generator is telling us that they are not doubling at all. They are setting up individual survivors on the individual generators, and if you're a Void fan, you can certainly hope that it takes longer to complete all of these generators, but I'm very certain if Jinx is keeping up this pressure, we will see a couple of generators facing the completion soon. One of them is ready to go, and 2 other gens are around 60 to 70%. Meanwhile, we are spectating Mathis here, very experienced player from the 1v1 leaderboard. Perfect play off the TNL here, even when injured. An absolute perfect performance, and that's going to be the down right here. But Moon should be able to finish the generator in time, at least. If he's going to the correct generator afterwards, we might see that Dark will not be able to make it. Quick hook here, not too far away from that. Second generator is going to be completed, and we are taking care of this one over here a little bit. 5% of a setback, even more due to the pop goes to Weasel. We not only have the dry kick available, and Move now realizing that it takes a little bit more than just getting this hook stage and a few injuries, so he's now extending the searching area a little bit further, going away from the hook, trying to find the next survivor more aggressively. Over here, for example, Edgeman Anderson injured already and not up for a long run. Third generator, however, but now you know that either Moon or Dark are rotating back towards the unhook, so you have a good idea where the survivors are located, and now SSB will be crucial to chain a few downs together here.
100% definitely going to have to come up with a big play right here, especially with another gen being popped somewhere in the distance as well. Like you said, Move's only thing that you have going for them is that they at least understand where all the survivors are, because you have like relative locations right here. You saw the body block right there to try to cut off Move. That way we wouldn't see an immediate, you know, just tag it down onto someone, but Group doesn't even care, understands that, you know what, I just have to target these other survivors a little bit more right here. Going to try to find something right here. Can we hold the check spots rather efficiently here? It looks like we're going to be able to. We got another go around this pallet, and now we see K caught out of position, so now it's going to come down to what you can do. Opts to zone out Moon right here. Still makes it across. No, still going to get the window vault right here. And because Shaq is such a strong tile, like, you miss that hit, you don't get that down, and you just have to drop chase. Like, this is like the tough part of like playing killer whenever you have to beat a win condition is you have to drop chases in situations where normally you probably wouldn't, just because you know that like time is being wasted, you know that all 4 survivors are still in the trial. You're actually just going to lose a lot of progress if you commit to someone for a little bit too long. So gonna opt to again switch to dark this time around, so gonna have to be a situation here. Oh, that's such a bad ball, unfortunate right there. Just panics a little bit, ends up eating the down first troubles, and now another hook stage, but another generator being done as well. One more, and then that's going to be it for Jinx. They're going to end up winning 3-0 if they can get this last down.
One more generator, as you mentioned, are between Jinx and the main stage of the Winter Circuit, and this generator over here has a lot of progress, so you better get the Pop Goes to Weasel kick in before someone is sneaking into the back and potentially finishing this generator early. Nice one here onto Mathis. That came as a very nice... What? How is that not a flashlight save? That was off by maximum 5 milliseconds. So unfortunate for Team Jinx, but the fact that they have someone set up there next to the main building to take care of this rescue is... showing the very nice coordination. I'm not entirely sure if my judgment is off, because everyone in the background says it was way too early. I felt like that was kind of okay, but yeah, this explains why I always have the medkit when I'm playing Swift. So we are back onto the TNL wall. Over here we see a rescuer in the distance, so a little bit of chaos now affecting Jinx after the flashlight save hasn't gone too well. We can only hope that this chaos is not leading into any form of 4K here.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you know, potentially we saw the chaotic attempts right there from Jinx earlier in the Singularity game as well. You know, so potentially seeing that happen a little bit more this time around. But those are 2 survivors that chase at the same time, so you got to think, you know, the other 2, they're sitting on Jen. Still a really rough situation. Now you did get that hook, but now you just have to wait for this to reset. The sprint burst 99 right there, great awareness. Can't even proc eruption because of the time management, right? You can't wait another second in that situation. Gets the down on the moon right there though, and that actually is gonna proc eruption, so it's actually done at the right time. So that's another, however much percent right there, but you know that generator's getting blocked by the entity group right here. So yeah, everyone's injured. They're just ping-ponging back and forth. Eventually, something's got to give, and it might be the survivors here. Like, who might be able to tie this up right now.
Yeah, this would be an insane turnaround in this best of 5 here. Void so many times with a good performance, then this very last step was always missing, and I think Jinx also planned with the main stage here already. They feel very confident, we can tell by their playstyle, because if you're not expecting to win this, you wouldn't try something like the flashlight save on the main building, but the confidence is justified. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, they're through into the main stage. We'll see Jinx in 2 weekends from now. Playing among the top 16 teams fighting for the Winter Circuit crown, and we are saying goodbye to Void, but it is actually going to be a sad goodbye, because Void was presenting themselves very strong today, and it was a very great game to watch. Even though 3-0 seems clear on the paper, Void performed a lot better than that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, yeah, it's like a 3-0 before a 3-0, but you should have watched the game, right? Like, there were situations where it was coming down to the wire, so said. They're definitely playing very well. Unfortunately, not going to be able to see them in the main stage right now for this winter circuit, but hopefully we get to see them some more later as well. Maybe even in some other competitions. So don't count them out just yet for future endeavors. But yeah, Jinx going to, I think their experience, I think that kind of just pulled them through a little bit. It was just enough to push them over the edge. So yeah, I mean, welcome Jinx to winter circuit. So it's gonna be a wild ride because they were playing very well. I'm excited what they're gonna do to some of these good teams for sure.